Good morning, this is Peter Towers from ESS BIZTOOLS. Welcome to this webinar today for non-subscribers. And the key subject today is getting ready to offer business advisory services. There's still a couple more people who've registered to come online, but we'll get underway. If you have any questions during the webinar, can you please type your question in, and in webinar terminology, raise your hand and I will answer your questions during the webinar. ESS BIZTOOLS is a package that we started to commercially market about 10 years ago to the Australian accountancy industry. It's based on material that I developed for my own accountancy firm and used it because we wanted to offer a range of services beyond compliance. So our aim is to assist accountants to get ready to deliver a range of non-compliance services. I envisage that business advisory services over the next few years will become a major product line for accountancy firms to deliver. In fact, I think if firms are well organised and seriously approach the offering of business advisory services, that over a 3 to 4 year period, the sales mix within accountancy businesses will show that business advisory services is 30 to 40% of the fees generated by the business. But this is not going to be achieved unless there has been proper preparation in the first instance, because it's virtually like starting an audit section from scratch or offering the prepare income tax returns from scratch. So within the material that ESS BIZTOOLS is offering to subscribers, we have articles, checklists, forms to assist in a number of aspects of preparing an accountancy business to be able to offer these types of services. In the first instance, it's very important to find out what the individual partners within the firm want. Based on my experience, some will want to be involved in the delivery of business advisory services, others will not want to be involved. Incidentally, my advice is that the partner's role should be to act as the rainmaker, to encourage clients to seek your advice of products within the business advisory services category. But in the main, the products would be delivered by managers and accountants and marketing team members, with the partners acting as mentors and coaches to those people. Within the system, we have a team members questionnaire to assist you in getting feedback from team members as to their views on offering a wider range of services. In my experience, when you first approach accountants about being involved in a wider range of services, most of them will indicate they wish to be involved. But after some training, you'll find that that figure will drop by about 10%, and you will then find that over a period of time, the serious ones are probably around 50% of your accounting team. The reason for this is that there's more work to be done. There's some additional reading and evaluation of industries that your clients are participating in that most of your accounting team have probably not done at this stage. So some of them lose their enthusiasm. That's all right, because you've still got a lot of tax returns to get through. This is not meant to be the total fee earning area of a firm. It's meant to be a component of it to offer a better range of services for your clients. I think it's very important that you also seek the views of clients, because whilst I can tell you that around 87% of the small medium enterprises that I've talked to as part of the evaluation process for a number of accounting firms around Australia, I believe it is best if you get that sort of feedback from your own clients to say that you've had that discussion with your clients. A word of warning: once you talk to your clients, you'll then have comments like, well, we now know that you can do this, and we're going to be watching to ensure that you do implement these types of services. One of the other comments that I've received from SMEs about the services to be supplied by their accountants, and I've paraphrased it a little bit based on having heard virtually the same comment from numerous people, is I want my accountant to know more about my business than just the profit and loss account. I want my accountant to know more about my business than just the profit and loss account. What does that mean? Well, I think it means understanding the key performance indicators that apply to that business. I think it means understanding something about the client's business, the industry that they operate in, the physical location of their business, how their team works, who the team members are. You'll have great difficulty in gaining all of this knowledge on clients unless there are visits made to the client's business premises to get a better understanding of what is happening in the business. Once these things are done, I believe that an accountancy business can supply an effective Chief Financial Officer services as part of business advisory services. If you haven't already done so, we recommend that you classify your clients into A, B and C. And the A-class clients are the ones that you should be concentrating on supplying a range of business advisory services to them. And the B class, well, you should be trying to make them A class. The C class should be people who, for whatever reason, want their income tax returns prepared. And incidentally, I noticed in yesterday's media that the Prime Minister has again raised an issue that's been around for some time, and that is the withdrawal of the necessity for wage earners to lodge income tax returns, unless they wish to lodge one. So if you're in a firm that's got a high component of wage earner tax returns being processed, I think the comments by Mr. Abbott yesterday should really put you on notice that obviously as part of their red tape reduction, and that was the context in which he made the comment, that wage earner tax returns are really receiving serious consideration by the Liberal government. The other area is industries. I'm always surprised when I talk to accountants and I ask them, who are the major industries that your clients belong to? In fact, you can answer the question yourselves now if you like. What are the top 5 industries that your clients belong to? Sometimes I'm sure partners of firms are quite surprised when they get the result back. Normally not immediately the question's asked. Sometimes it's a week later that administration's gone through and sorted out what industries their clients belong to. I think it's vital that you know this information, because one of the aspects of offering business advisory services is being able to target services to your major client industries. So if when you undertake your review, and the one I'm now going to talk to you about is one that I recently completed for an accounting firm, we found that beef graziers were in the top 5. Pharmacy businesses were in the top 5. Manufacturing businesses, retail shops and medical centres. So there's a fair wide variety of business types there, but it gave them 5 main industry groups that happened to contribute just under 80% of the fees, the gross fees of the accountancy business. So why wouldn't you concentrate on knowing more about those industries, going to some industry meetings, reading some industry journals, becoming an expert in the pharmacy industry or an expert in the beef grazing industry? I can assure you, you don't have to do that much work to understand a lot more about the industries than probably what you do at present, so that you can become an industry specialist in some of those industries. Our recommendation is that this journey into offering business advisory services should be a 2 to 3 year plan. Andrew Geddes, undoubtedly the most senior of the advisors to the Australian accountancy industry, wrote about this a couple of years ago in a Smith Inc. 2020 blog, and said he thought it would take the average firm about 3 years to get themselves properly prepared to offer business advisory services. In my experience, 2 to 3 years is the time frame, because you've already got a lot of other work to do. You've got tax returns and annual accounts. This is additional work. Some of it, though, will take up the slack, I believe, based on Deloitte report on digital disruption. Bearing in mind that Deloitte have said that there will be a 32% change to professional firms, which include accountancy businesses, obviously, over the next 2 to 3 years. Part of that change is going to be driven by government and tax office decisions on whether people need to lodge wage earner tax returns, because I believe that that is ultimately going to lead to far more competition within the accountancy market, as a significant segment of the market ultimately is no longer there. And business advisory services is an area that you can utilise to pick up some of that slack. But also for the well-prepared firms, you'll be able to achieve fee growth through being very proactive in this area. I mentioned before, I believe the main role for partners is to act as the rainmakers and mentors and coaches for the team to be involved in delivering business advisory services. So the leadership that's required in a firm, and you can't make decisions to embark on a new range of products like this without there being strong leadership, and we've summarised them on the screen there at present. You need to establish the need for change. Well, I've mentioned a few already today. And the other thing, of course, is competition. Not only is the tax office and the Prime Minister talking about changes that are going to affect accountants, but there's significant competition emerging in the marketplace from business coaches and consultants. What's the vision for your firm? You need to be able to communicate that vision, first of all to your own team, and then to your clients, and then to the wider market in the community that you live. Business advisory services will lead to a change in the culture of your organisation as you become more responsive to the needs of your clients on a more regular basis. In some cases, the contact may be daily. In a lot, it will be weekly, but most definitely monthly if you are going to be offering a range of business advisory services to your clients. So your firm will require strong leadership at all levels, not only at partner level and manager level, but then within the team themselves who are delivering these products and services to your clients. The next area that we have within our material is team training, because there's no doubt that the team is going to have to be trained. And the team definition, I'm including accountants, managers, and marketing personnel if you employ marketing personnel. Within our material, we have a balanced scorecard questionnaire to assist you to get feedback from your accountancy team and marketing team as to what they think about your current level of preparation to offer business advisory services. And our recommendation is you revisit that questionnaire every 6 months. Our concept is built around that you should be encouraging the development of product champions. And by product champions, we're referring to someone who's going to be your key performance indicator and benchmark champion. Someone else who's going to be your debtors management champion. Someone else who will be your cash flow management champion. Succession champion. Chief Financial Officer Services champion, and so on. You need one or two people in your organisation who are able to be the go-to people or person for other people in your organisation to get some input. And I've already talked about industry. I think it's important that you have got someone who in effect is the running the beef cattle desk, and someone else who's the pharmacy desk, and someone else who's the manufacturing industry person, and someone else who's the medical expert, so that they are the people who other team members can turn to for some input, but they should be the key person involved in undertaking business advisory services tasks for clients who are within those industries. Part of their role should also be public speakers for your organisation in making comments on various aspects of business relationships with those industries, preparing papers to present at conferences, writing blog articles on those industries, creating an awareness in the public marketplace that your firm has some in-depth knowledge about some industries. I believe is very important if you are going to be very successful at offering business advisory services. And part of this process is to determine, do you have the right persons? Our system encourages your team members to develop their own personal plans for the next 12 months. It might be that they're going to improve their public speaking skills or develop some public speaking skills. Most people are fairly nervous about speaking in public. Do they need to join Toastmasters or Rostrum or some other public speaking organisation so as to improve their skills? Our suggestion is that each one of the team members who is going to be involved in delivering these products has a mentor. The mentor may be a partner, or it may be an external consultant, or it may be another person altogether, but that person who's their mentor's key role would be to have a discussion with the mentoree monthly and monitor how they're going in achieving their personal plan. Our system includes a training program to assist in the preparation of the skills that are going to be needed to deliver business advisory services, together with some mock interviews so that the team is appropriately prepared. The next area that we would cover in our material is the products or services that you're going to offer. Within ESS BIZTOOLS, we have 14 pre-prepared product offerings, and we're currently adding another 7 to that list. But that doesn't mean that you come out and start offering 20-odd products on day one of business advisory services. Our suggestion is you pick 3 or 4 and you become very proficient in those, and in 6 months' time, after having done some further training and development, you might add a further 3 or 4. On the screen I've listed some of them there that you might like to consider, and there's the remainder of them. The key ones, I think, are Chief Financial Officer Services, that is offering in effect an in-house accountancy presence for a client. Debtors management. Debtors is going to be one of the major problems confronting most small businesses in Australia. Obviously, if they're cash businesses, they haven't got that problem. Don't encourage them to give credit. Business plans, perhaps selling a business in this current climate where people are trying to sell businesses. Our material includes a document which we call SME Needs Analysis. It's basically a menu of the services that your firm might be able to provide. And what we have on the screen is the key headings within that document and continues on the next screen. So they're the sort of issues that you'd be able to sit down and have a conversation with your client and identify from that conversation the type of extra services that the client would like to receive from you. Marketing is important. Let me share a story with you about marketing. I was at a conference on the Gold Coast last year where one of the speakers was an accountant, partner in a major firm in a capital city. And he said that he was checking a profit and loss account, and included in the profit and loss account was an entry business advice, $26,000. He rang the client and asked him what the expenditure on business advice was. And the client answered him, I hired a business coach. The accountant said to him, do you know that we supply those type of services? The accountant said that the phone went dead for about 30 seconds, and then the client said to him, I've been your client for 15 years. You've handled my income tax, you've handled annual accounts, you've handled our superannuation fund. Not once in that 15 years have you said to me that your firm could offer the type of services that I was able to secure from the business coach. Why didn't you tell me? The accountant, it was a partner in his firm, said it was a great lesson for him that his firm had not been marketing their services. He claimed that they could have offered all the services that were offered by the business coach. I don't know whether he could or could not have done that, but the real message was that his client did not know that his firm wanted to be at least considered in the offering of those services. So the key marketing strategy that we recommend is that you do communicate to your clients that you're offering a wider range of services, and you continue to communicate on an ongoing basis. You identify your A-class clients, and you market the business advisory services to those A-class clients. In fact, I have difficulty in believing that a client can be classified as A-class if you are unable to sell business advisory services products to them. So you're going to unlock your client's needs. You need to create a disturbance in your client's minds. Nothing's going to change otherwise. So you need to identify who needs these services and be enthusiastic in the delivery of them. Modern accountancy firms are going to have to be far more conscious of marketing their services and then professionally selling their services. The taxation return work basically guarantees clients come to you this year, will come back next year, or will probably come for the next 10 years, as long as they're still in business. But business advisory services is not quite like that, especially in the beginning. Accountants are going to have to market and then professionally sell. And that's the new world we live in. That's what Deloitte are forecasting in their digital disruption report. They are saying that businesses who are going to be affected, which definitely includes accountancy firms, need to look at new revenue streams. And this is one of the key revenue streams that an accountancy business can deliver. You need to identify some stories to tell your clients as to the services you can offer. We're suggesting that you will have seminars to launch business advisory services once you've finished your preparation, but never invite more than 20 clients to a seminar at one time, because you don't want 50% of them telling you that they want you to go ahead with a major business advisory services assignment straight away. You need to progressively ease your way into it. So we're suggesting a series of one-on-one meetings and using the SME Needs Analysis. And you need to get testimonials. You will need articles on your website and newsletters. And we produce a weekly podcast for our accountancy members to use to promote services to clients and prospects that they can utilise in-house. I've just spoke about the seminar to launch business advisory services. One of the key things there is your product champions should be the people who stand and deliver a short presentation on the individual products that your firm is going to offer. And we've prepared the scripts for them to use. Obviously you can use your own material if you like, but we think it's important to have a script prepared so that the presenter can memorise that and make the presentation. So we do not envisage that the seminars are only presented by partners. We envisage that it's presented by half a dozen of your team over about a 70-minute period, so that the clients can see your key people who are going to be involved in the delivery of this product standing there before them talking about it. And if you've got 100 A-class clients, after about 2 months, you would have a further seminar with another 20 of your clients, and progressively keep on doing that every couple of months to get yourself properly underway with business advisory services. We're then suggesting that you would have a one-on-one meeting with that client, use the SME Needs Analysis to identify the type of services. Incidentally, our recommendation is the one-on-one meeting should be about a 2-hour meeting, and that you wouldn't charge for that. You will earn sufficient revenue from offering these type of services to be able for you to take away the fear of attending that type of meeting with their accountant, to do so for as a free service. It's a marketing strategy to convince your client that they should be proceeding down this path with you. You need to identify the services, and then it's very important that you supply a written proposal and a quotation. And templates for the proposal and the quotation are included within our material. We also have a series on professional selling. We believe it's very important that you would adapt some professional selling styles within the organisation, so that a quotation is submitted, follow-up phone calls are made, and you follow up any objections so as to try to close the sale. And within the material we have some training there, as you can see on the screen, to train your people in being able to sell the services. Your clients are not used to you selling to them, and most accountants are not trained or used to selling. But selling is very important. In a lot of public companies, the most highly paid executive is the head of sales. And that's because organisations can't exist without someone making sales. Someone said to me a few years ago, one of the reasons selling is not so important, or considered to be so important in businesses, because there's no university degrees for selling. Her comment was, perhaps there should be, so that people will give a greater appreciation to it. So you need confidence to sell, and to do that your people need to be trained in the product. They need to have some industry knowledge. They need to know more about their client's business than the profit and loss account. And you have a closing meeting, and you start to sell the package of services. Your conversions will be helped by your conviction, self-belief, esteem, creating the feeling that you understand your clients, and the following up. And there's some more comments as to how conversions will be helped. So a 12-month subscription to ESS BIZTOOLS. I've just put those prices on the screen so you can look at them, because I'm now just going to see if there's any questions at this stage. If there's any questions, can you please type them in and raise your hand. And what we're going to do now is go on to the ESS BIZTOOLS website. So we're live on the website now. Hopefully you're seeing that okay. I'm just going to go I'll just show you this, even though we're concentrating on business advisory services. There's the organisational chart, if you like, on our products. Business advisory services, we're going to look at part of that in a moment. We produce a newsletter each month, which we call Business Plus. If you haven't been receiving any complimentary copies of Business Plus, if you send us an email, we'll send that to you. Client mentoring and coaching is the educational material within ESS BIZTOOLS to assist you in educating your client on some of the products that you can offer. Leadership modules are 8 modules on leadership issues that have been developed by an industry expert, Peter McDougall, former Colonel in the Australian Army, who is the Managing Director of the Leadership Academy, who agreed to write a small business version of leadership that can be delivered by accountants. And we have 36 seminars and webinars that are within the client seminar area. Within ESS papers, there are 500 papers that are prepared, ready for you to badge with your name and contact details to send to your clients. And there are another 50 papers, articles that are directed at accountancy businesses to help you with contemporary thinking in 2014 to compete in the marketplace. I've now gone to products, so this is the main product area within ESS BIZTOOLS. We want to look at business advisory services, so that's where I'm going. On the business advisory services screen, on the left-hand side, you have the introduction to business advisory services products, which is what I've been talking about today. On the right-hand side, you have the product modules that we have developed. They're fully developed articles, templates, forms, to assist you in the delivery of whatever those products are called. Today's webinar is on the introduction to getting ready for business advisory services. So we'll just go into the introduction to business advisory services. You have an executive summary to start with. And then we're going to download. Now we've got 2 choices. We go to view, which is a PDF document, which is the quickest one to get access to. And the other is a download of a Word document, which also gives you the PowerPoint slides. So we'll go to view. The reason we have PDF documents here is it allows us to link from one article or paper to another, so that you can move around the system. Let's go back to the beginning here. So this is a typical ESS BIZTOOLS paper. Above these dotted lines, you would put your name and your address and contact details. Now, you would not normally make this paper available to a client because this is a paper for accountants. And the indicator is the prefix number, 570, any number from 500 through to 599 as the prefix are the papers that are targeted at accountancy businesses. So you have a list of the contents. And then a whole range of forms to assist you in understanding some of these issues. So we'll just go into the paper so you can see that this paper is linked to other documents, some of which are the forms within this area. So this is an article that can be utilized to start the process. To act as the guide. But the real work is within the forms themselves, which we call BAS forms, Business Advisory Services, not that other BAS. And then we go into some of the forms. So we're just going, this one's a prediction of accountancy business evolution, 2014 to 17. It refers to the Deloitte Digital Disruption Report, and you can log on to that. The CCH report that they produced in April last year, SMEs, the fine line between failure and success, and looks at some of the other issues. The Personal Property Securities Register. We've conducted about 4 webinars on the Personal Property Securities Register in the last 5 weeks. Are you fully familiar with that? We are producing a product within Business Advisory Services in the next 2 weeks to help accountants develop systems for the Personal Property Securities Register, which must be one of the worst bits of legislation introduced into Australia in years. The way it's been introduced with no adequate nationwide training to small business operators in how it would work. I'm quite amazed. There are other forms on suggested layout of accountancy businesses, etc. We might just move on to another. If you wanted to have a look at the forms to look at team training, this is the material for team training. It's the executive summary to start with. We'll just go straight into it. The paper. What I want to do now is just work through to show you a few of these forms. So if you want to look at the team member questionnaire, there's a questionnaire for the team members to utilise. With all of our material you can edit it, but you're then responsible for it, so it's giving them the opportunity to identify the type of work that they might be interested in doing. We've looked at this title we called Client Service Officer Duties. That's someone to assist in making sure all the data is available to allow a business advisory services process to be undertaken. We've mentioned the mentoring program. Here's some comments on some of the items that might be considered. Professional selling training course undertaking. The Australian Institute of Company Directors Diploma course, and other things. We've listed some of the products that might be considered in identifying what product champions might do. Understand more about the products they are able to offer. The industry champions, there's a list there of some of the items that, and the approach that the team member that's been allocated the industry champion role might look at doing to better prepare themselves. There's a personal plan checklist that I talked about before. How do they rate themselves on various areas? What do they know about industries? They're going to look at doing some extra reading over the next 12 months. And there's a form then for them to develop their personal plan for the next 12 months. What are they going to undertake to do? And that's what they would be having regular discussions with their mentor about. So hopefully that gives you an idea of how that might work to equip your firm to be offering a wider range of services. SME Needs Analysis I mentioned. This is a document which will assist as a menu of the type of services that your firm can provide. So first of all, we explore the current business performance of the client. My recommendation is you send this to the client about a week before you're going to have the meeting so they can start thinking about it. And you're asking some questions here, even on a general review of the business, that might cause them to start asking questions like, what is their debtors days outstanding? How does debtors factoring work? And they might raise some questions about marketing and some of these other issues like human resources, because if you're going to offer business advisory services, you're basically offering a commercial package for your clients. They might raise some questions about government grants. We then go into taxation planning, wealth creation. They're happy with where they currently are. What about risk management? They've got life insurance covers. They've got buy-sell agreements. They've got a valid will. What about succession and estate planning? So what we're trying to use this for is for the client to start identifying that they'd like you to present a proposal to them of looking at some of these items. They might like a business evaluation workshop. They might like you to give them a proposal to be the Chief Financial Officer. And these are all linked to forms that you can go to. So if you wanted to offer strategic management consulting, there's a summary of what I envisage is included in that. And this is more as an executive director role. It's about helping a business to achieve its target. You may have asked the owner what he believes the business is worth. And they've told you $4 million. And you've done a valuation and said you reckon it's only worth $2.2 million. This is an ideal opportunity then to say that over the next 3 years we'll assist you to implement strategies that will allow you to bridge that gap, to bridge that $1.8 million in valuation. It might be through better systems, manual development, training of the team, preparing management style financial accounts rather than tax return style accounts, budgets, cash flow forecasts, can all contribute. So let's go back to the main. You can see we've also got the planning seminar, the selling seminar, and there's some video tutorials on our website for this very important area of business advisory services. Now, what I'm going to try to do, if you've got microphones on your computers, is just unmute the people who are in attendance. Might create a bit of noise, but we'll just see. If you've got any questions, and if you can, talk to me direct. I'm here listening. If you have any questions. Alternatively, you could type a question in and send it through to me. So that's the overview of the introduction to business advisory services. In future webinars, we will be going through the individual products that are on the right-hand side of the screen on business advisory services. We would really welcome your firms that you're representing as subscribers to ESS BIZTOOLS and ESS BizGrants, which is our product which assists in the identification of government grants. If you would like to talk to me, can you please send me an email and we will contact you. But I will be contacting you in the next week or so in any case to see how you went and your evaluation of ESS BIZTOOLS. If you haven't already done so, you can log on as a guest and have 30 days free access to our material. You'll be able to see how it works, and you'll be able to get 20 of the papers as samples, and some of the other products. They're the ones that come up with the bright yellow streak through the name of the particular product. You can download that and use that in your own organisation.